Okay, I'm Eric.
And I'm Josiah.
And this is Project InSite. Okay, so Josiah and I were talking the other day, or today, I can't remember what day it is, but we're talking about grace, and I think of grace, I contrast it against mercy. So the way I think about it is mercy is when you don't receive due punishment, and grace is when you do receive unmerited reward. So it's kind of cool that contrast there. So Josiah's got this cool story where he offers grace to somebody. So tell me about this grace story. What you got?
Well, so I bought a car. I bought this 1971 VW Beetle.
So it's like a decade older than you.
Yeah, easily.
Okay.
Actually, more, a lot more.
Is that beard a clip-on? Anyway, tell me about this bug.
So I bought this bug from a buddy of mine, and it was in parts. And through the years, I mean, I have taken this thing all the way down to the block where, I mean, everything out of it, man. This thing has been rebuilt from the ground
block,
up.
is that an engine?
Yeah, the engine block. Like I took it apart, took everything out of it, right? Like this thing is, nothing is assembled, nothing. And I'm having to do some work, get stuff bored out, getting some new bearings, things like that, the whole engine redone and then rebuilt it. And it's taken years, like years.
Okay.
And one, I didn't know anything about them as I started, but I really grew to really enjoy the engine work and the car and just all the facets of it. One, because it's like going through a history book like you, and just kidding. No, it was literally like a piece of history. It's like how we got to where we are, and I just really enjoyed it. And so as I was doing this was almost, to me, it's like it was more than a car. It was more like an art piece because, and I know they're everywhere. You can literally get these cars all over. But this particular car, every single piece of it I had scrubbed with a toothbrush and gotten it all ready. So this was kind of my baby.
Yeah, you've grown attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So, I get the car out, whatever, and finally get it running and all that stuff. And the first time I go to drive it, what do you think happens?
It blows up.
No, man, it ran great.
It fell apart right down the road.
No, it ran great. We rode around the neighborhood a few times, and everything was doing good. But the first time after I had gotten like everything legal, like gotten the license plate,
title,
got all that stuff right, and I'm going out, and I even have my baby with me because my wife's out of town, and because I'm so excited, I can't wait for her to get back. So I literally just like,
not the baby, the bug, but the actual baby.
Yeah, like my daughter.
Okay.
Right? She's like 1 year old, and I have her in the back, and I put her in the car seat. She's all buckled up, and I'm thinking like, this is the coolest thing ever, right? Now there's probably some people out there that don't like that, but I'm sorry, right? But I was excited. And
did they even have seat belts to strap it in 1971?
She had a seat belt. I welded it in. It's cool. And no, it was there. And so anyway, she's with me, and we're driving, and I pick up a friend of mine, and we're going to get something to eat. And right as we get about a football field away from the place we're going to eat, I hear this sputter, and next thing you know, I'm pulled over on the side of the road, and we're just looking at the engine, and it's not running. And we broke down, right? And it was a fuel problem, wasn't getting it, whatever. But I didn't know any of this at the time, so we just, we did after that. We went and got food. It was a football field away, so we walked. And after that, we were getting back. I got a buddy to pick us up, and we got home. And I called my wife. I'm bummed out, and I'm kind of like concerned that the car is going to get towed and all this other stuff. And she's like, well, the baby's asleep. You can just put her in the car seat. She'll sleep there, and you could just get it towed home. That way you can work at it when you want. I'm like, genius, let's do that. So I literally, I got to go. I got to do what we talked about. I'm going to put the baby in the car. So I was like, I'll call you later. So that's exactly what I do. I went and got the baby strapped in. I called a tow truck as I'm driving to the car. And I get there, and about, a few 20, 30 minutes later, the tow truck guy shows up. He calls me on the way because he was lost. Anyway, he gets there, and he's strapping the car in, and it was a newer style truck I hadn't seen before, but I'm interested. And so I'm talking to the guy the whole time. And he seems like a nice guy. Talk about my daughter. He's talking about his kids, and it was nice, right? And then we get my truck, and I'm excited just because we're about to get the car back home. Everything's gonna be taken care of, and we can work at the car at like our own pace. you know, and as soon as I get home, I get the baby inside, and I'm running out to like get the guy help, whatever. And as soon as I get back out there, I see him backing in the driveway, and he's cutting it because my garage is at like a 90-degree angle from my driveway. And as soon as he cuts the wheel, the bottom back wheel kind of gets off in the grass, and it was soft. And I literally see the front two tires that are like this, and as he cuts it, the wheel pops over the thing, and it's literally like looking at the other tire almost at a 90-degree.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, I know that's not supposed to happen.
So he's breaking your baby.
Yeah, and I'm sad. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've worked so hard on this car, and this I haven't even driven it like one complete drive except for the neighborhood, of course, because that was an obvious success. And then I get, and I'm looking at it, and next thing I know, I see this fluid pouring out the other side that didn't pop out, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what's going on. So we end up getting it out. We end up having to back and forth to get the thing in like 10 times, it felt like, in order to get in there into the garage. And we finally get it in, and the guy's kind of like rambling on about, you know, he's not going to make me pay for the tow and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of distraught. But he said something that caught my attention. In the middle of all this, he goes, oh, man, you know, this is going to hurt. I'm going to have to pay for this. And he had told me earlier that he had done like 20 tows that day. And I was thinking, that's a whole lot of tows. And so I kind of put two and two together, that one, this guy was trying to pay, you know, obviously save some money because he's doing a lot of work. I mean, that's a long time. He's got small kids, and he's out there just working from, he said he started at 6 in the morning and he wasn't getting off, and he was towing this car at 9:30 at night. That's a long day. And he told me that this is going to come out of his paycheck. Like, he's going to have to pay to get the car fixed. He's going to have to pay for those damages. And you know, here I am, this is my alternate vehicle, and I kind of start to feel guilty, but in my mind, I'm so concerned about the car. I'm just like, okay, man, we'll just call me later, we'll get it fixed or whatever. And he gets on, he drives off, whatever, and I'm sitting there, and I literally just praying because I'm so upset, I don't know what to do, so I just start praying.
Yeah.
And immediately, all of the things in that week, when I had gotten frustrated with coworkers, whenever I had not done things the right way, and all of the things that I had not done right, specifically at work, were literally just like coming to my mind. And I'm literally just sitting there, and I'm like, God, I'm trying to pray about this car and what to do. And it's like, all I can feel about it is like, and I remember myself asking forgiveness for these things. And I'm just sitting there, and it's like, oh, I get it. I see what you're doing here. And I kid you not, and I didn't think about it too much longer, and I just knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I called him up, and I told him, I said, hey, man, I just want you to know I've been praying about this since you left, and I've really had it on my heart, and I didn't know what to do because this is like a car that I've worked so hard on, and I was pretty upset, but dude, I've made plenty of mistakes this week and before, and I just want you to know that I've been forgiven for a lot of things, and so I'm gonna try and show you some grace right now, and you don't have to pay for anything. I'm gonna get it fixed. You treat your family, be blessed, and I hope that you remember this, and you can remember that you can pay it forward and bless somebody else. And because I really wanted to use keywords, you know, blessed, right? And anyway, but yeah, he was so grateful, and he was just telling me like, man, I'll help you. I'll come over there and do it myself, you know. And I was just like, man, don't worry about it. I got it. Just you go ahead. I appreciate you, and thank you for helping me out tonight.
That's pretty cool. It makes me think of what my wife says to my kids all the time. She says, especially when they're fighting over toys or something breaks, they did this, and she says, people are more important than things. And she says that all the time. So one, I think my wife would be very proud of you. So you got that going for you. Two, I can't help but think of what Jesus said is the second greatest commandment, to love your neighbor as yourself. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, do you write love letters to yourself? You give yourself a big hug? No, what you do is you acknowledge the needs of others and you meet those needs. You use your resources to meet those needs. And you thought about how merciful and how much grace has God bestowed on you in your life. Yeah. Have you made mistakes? Do you like it when people extend grace to you in those situations? Yeah. Yes. Yes, we all need it, and you reflected that, and you did the same to this guy. And I think that's powerful. I think that's what we all need to do. It's the power of the gospel, the good news of Christ. It's not only the power of salvation, but it's the power of sanctification, to be renewed, to be conformed to the image of Christ. And by extending grace to each other, that's how we love one another. So let's love one another.
Let's do it.
That's right. I'm Eric.
And I'm Josiah.
And this is Project InSite.
In your heart, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.